Good morning, folks. Happy Wednesday morning. It's chilly this morning, so I'm wearing my comfy sweats. So for today's mobility snack video, I'm going to show you some breathing exercises to help open the thoracic area. So this is great to do in the morning, especially when you wake up and you're feeling very stiff. Or this is for prolonged periods of sitting also, or just in general. This is great for those who are runners and cyclists also to help open up the rib cage for more lung capacity. So I'm going to go ahead and run through the benefits of doing these exercises. It relieves back pain, it helps wake up the body, and helps with thoracic rotation also, so the twisting, and also just for not forget the bending. And just to reinforce the reason why we're doing breathing exercises and emphasizing on the thoracic and rib cage area is the rib cage itself has many joints that's connected to the spine and also at the sternum level. And to think about it, like when we do breathe, the rib cage expands and it collapses. So the more that we distract the rib cage, the more air that we can bring in also into our bodies. So let's go ahead and start off with the basic breathing exercises, and this is done in child's pose. So once again, to get into child's pose, connect the big toes together, have knees wide apart, and go into child's pose. A key thing to keep in mind is to have the forearms on the ground. And then from here, just put your head down and breathe deeply. Take deep breaths in and out. So, how long to do this? So it really depends. Between 1 to 3 minutes or between 5 to 18 deep breaths. So those are a couple of ways to gauge. And now, so the next one here, we're going to go ahead and breathe into that scapular area, especially in between our shoulder joints. So for this one, we come into a tabletop or quadruped position, making sure that the shoulders, not the shoulders, the wrists are stacked below the shoulders. And what we're going to do is go into the cat pose or just round the upper back by arching upwards, tucking your chin in. And here, the same thing, you want to take 5 to 18 deep breaths. And also while you're breathing, you should feel the expansion in the scapular area to help open up that area. So that's technique number 2. So once again, we're in quadruped position or tabletop, making sure that the wrists are stacked right below the shoulders, rounding the back, tucking the chin in, and breathing in this position. And if you have a hard time keeping count like I do, you can do this for 1 to 3 minutes. All right, so that area, so forgot to mention the child's pose helps bring expansion into the thoracic area, which is the mid-back. So when you're in child's pose, in this position here, taking deep breaths, you should feel it around the midsection, right below the scapular area. Now this next one here is also in the Instagram post, but this is to help with rotation in the thoracic area. So what we're going to do is find a comfortable seat, and let's go ahead and start on the right side. So taking the right ankle and crossing it over left, sitting up tall, and placing your hands behind your ears. So the first step is to rotate to the right until you feel tightness and stop. As soon as you feel that tightness, stop. That's the one key. The next thing to do is go ahead and take your right elbow and point it towards the ground. From here, breathe into the left side rib cage. Breathe into the left side rib cage. And now, so the next one here is also in the Instagram post, but this is to help with rotation in the thoracic area. So what we're going to do is find a comfortable seat, and let's go ahead and start on the right side. So taking the right ankle and crossing it over left, sitting up tall, and placing your hands behind your ears. So the first step is to rotate to the right until you feel tightness and stop. As soon as you feel that tightness, stop. That's the one key. The next thing to do is go ahead and take your right elbow and point it towards the ground. From here, breathe into the left side rib cage. Take 2 breaths. And on the second breath, make sure to release all the air out of your lungs. Now the next step is to bring yourself upright, but not to turn back to center. Keep your elbows where it's at. And rotate again to the right. As you can see, I was able to rotate much more after doing that. And then next thing I do is point your right elbow back down towards the ground and take a couple deep breaths in. And then come back up, keeping your elbows where they are. And then rotate again. So now, we're not going to point our elbows back down again. Take note on where your elbows are pointing. So my elbows are pointing towards the 20-pound dumbbells behind me. Now let's go ahead and do it. Check. Come back to center. And then rotate again to see if your elbow lands at that same ending point. And it did. So what this does, what the breathing does, is it unlocks 5 to 20 degrees of more, okay, we'll backtrack. It basically unlocks 5 to 20 degrees more of rotation towards that side. Now on your own, go ahead and do that on the left. So the next one is for thoracic extension. So what you will need is, if you don't have a bench, a couch would do. And if you have a body bar, a PVC pipe, or a broomstick, that's another thing. So to get set up for this, I'm going to scoot this mat closer to the bench. And also, if you have like hardwood floors or any kind of surface that's hard on the knees, go ahead and get like a mat, a yoga mat, a blanket to put under your knees. So what we're going to do is we're going to place our elbows on the bench or couch, scooting back. And what we're going to do is making sure that I'm properly aligned here. There we go. Is go ahead and take your PVC pipe, body bar, broomstick, or whatever item you have in your hands. And from here, we're going to come to this neutral position. Kind of like a, I don't know, some kind of tabletop position. I don't know how to describe this. And the first thing you're going to do is, so when we inhale, we're going to sit our butt back towards our heels and bring that bar right behind our head and exhale. Take another inhale from here. And exhale as you come up. So once again, inhale as you sit your butt back. And bring the bar overhead. And exhale here. And inhale again once you come up. And exhale. So for this one, you want to use the same key 5 to 18 times, or 1 to 3 minutes. And once again, the thoracic breathing helps reduce stiffness in back. Get us through the day with less back pain also, and any pain in general, because all in all, everything's connected together. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next week for the next one.